So we've not long had the weigh-in for this weekend's heavyweight clash between Deontay Wilder and Robert Helenius. I did do a prediction for this fight in my live stream a couple of nights ago, but I understand not everyone has the time to tune in and watch. So I figured I'd do a separate video and go over it. Not only the weigh-in, but of course my final prediction, how I think the fight's going to go. So starting with the weights, I think this weigh-in showed some positive signs for Deontay Wilder because he weighed in at 214.5 pounds. So that is, in my opinion, I'd go as far as saying that is Deontay Wilder's optimal weight in the two teens and maybe the low 220s, but that would be the upper limit. And we've seen in Deontay Wilder's last two fights, especially both against Tyson Fury, that he's strayed way north of that. So in the most recent Tyson Fury fight, the third one, he weighed in at 238 pounds, which by heavyweight standards, not that much, it's kind of average, but by Deontay Wilder standards is enormous. He should not be weighing that heavy. Before that, he weighed 7 pounds lighter at 231. Before that, in the second fight against Luis Ortiz, he weighed in at 219.5. Before that, the Dominic Brazil fight, 223.25. And then the first Tyson Fury fight, he was 212.5. Now, as I say, the two teens to the 220s, that is Deontay Wilder's optimal weight. He isn't a naturally big person in terms of mass, stature and reach. Yeah, he's got some good size to him in terms of being 6'7", 83-inch reach. But in terms of mass, Deontay Wilder is not built to be heavy, and I think we saw in the second and third Tyson Fury fights the proof of that. They were decisive and brutal losses, and part of it is because Deontay Wilder was obviously outclassed by Tyson Fury, but he didn't help himself by coming in so much heavier than what he should. So the fact that Deontay Wilder is weighing in at 214, I think that's a good sign, and I think it just fills me with more confidence that he's going to win this fight. Robert Helenius, he weighed in at 253.25. He's slightly heavier than he's been in recent years, not by too much. In his last fight, he was 246 pounds. Before that, he was 238.75. Both those fights were against Adam Kovnatski. Before that, against Mateus Roberto Osorio, who I'm assuming is a journeyman, he was 235. Before that, he was 243.25 against Gerald Washington. So yeah, this isn't too unusual for Robert Helenius. It's not even a career heaviest. I suspect that Helenius's thought process was he probably saw the advantage or the effect of Tyson Fury coming in heavier for his fights against Deontay Wilder, and he's maybe trying to emulate what Fury did. However, we all know it's no secret, we're not under any illusion that Robert Helenius is not Tyson Fury, and he's not like him stylistically at all, and therefore that's probably going to, I'm not going to say backfire, but at the bare minimum I don't think it's going to have much of an effect. This fight, I think from a stylistic point of view, is a very straightforward fight on paper, because you look at the style of Deontay Wilder and the success he's had against fighters even of similar dimensions to Helenius, and just going off of recent form or form of recent years, Robert Helenius, it's not looking too great. He got stopped by Gerald Washington in 2019. Gerald Washington, who does this guy stop? He's a big man himself, he's athletic, but not really a puncher, not really a guy with much heart. And so it was a bit of a damning indictment when Robert Helenius lost to Gerald Washington, because it's like, Washington is the guy who loses to other people. If you're losing to him, maybe it's curtains. Maybe you should call it a day. Helenius also lost to Dylan White. That was back in 2017. I don't think he disgraced himself in that Dylan White fight. He showed some good movement. He hurt Dylan White early, legitimately hurt him. He also lost to Johan Duopa back in 2016. I can hardly remember that fight, so I can't really present my judgment on it, but he lost that in the 6th round. And the Derek Chisora fight he had back in 2011, Split decision win? Yeah, I don't think so. That was a Derek Chisora win in my books and in the books of many other people. So, yeah, on paper, you'd think this is a relatively straightforward fight for Deontay Wilder. However, I'm particularly interested in this fight, have an eye on this fight, because I want to see how Deontay Wilder comes back from the 2 crushing defeats he had to Tyson Fury. Now, Deontay Wilder, I don't think he gets enough credit for the heart and the bravery that he shows in the face of destruction. I'll say that because that's what happened to him in those Tyson Fury fights. The second and the third Fury fights, he got destroyed. Now, in the third fight, he put forward a bit more. He had a bit more success. He was able to drop Fury a couple of times. But at no point in any of his fights with Fury, which were his toughest moments, did he show any signs of giving in, any signs of capitulating and folding. You won't get that from Deontay Wilder. But what are the lasting effects of those defeats? Have they sufficiently chipped away at the heart of Deontay Wilder, the fighting spirit of Deontay Wilder? I think the proof is in the pudding. I suspect that it hasn't. I suspect that Deontay Wilder is still the same character, still a very proud man, still a very brave man. And I expect that those qualities and his punching power and his fighting prowess to see him through this fight. I anticipate that Deontay Wilder is going to win within 5 rounds. I suspect that the stoppage will probably come closer to the 5th round, just because I think Deontay Wilder will be sharp early, and I suspect him to actually land on Helenius early, but maybe not the most cleanest shots, because Helenius, he at this stage of his career, he still has decent legs, and he's a big man himself. So Deontay Wilder, based on the performance of the past, he usually takes a bit more time when he's in against someone who's of a similar size or even bigger than he is. He likes to take his time a bit more. I mean, Deontay Wilder's, he's a fairly patient fighter anyway, but I feel like he takes a bit more time to kind of scope out an opponent who matches him in terms of stature. And so I think it's going to go a couple of rounds. Some people I've seen, they're picking Wilder to blow Helenius out in like 1 round, 2 round, 3 rounds. I would not be surprised if that happened at all. But I just think Helenius's movement combined with Deontay Wilder's, the time it takes him to warm up and really be willing to let shots go. I think it goes a few more rounds, 4 or 5 maybe. But yeah, I do see Deontay Wilder winning this fight and winning big. And as I've said it many times, I'm glad to see Deontay Wilder back, because he's a very unique fighter. You know, he's not the most technically skilled, not the most coordinated, but he makes up for it by having such a heart and just amazing power. And it makes him entertaining because it makes him dangerous. You know, to be safe, you have to nail this guy to the canvas, and you're going to have to work hard to do it. So what's not to love? And so, yeah, a neat little heavyweight clash. Maybe Helenius could spring an upset. He's a big puncher in his own right. He has some ability, and he's enjoying a bit of an Indian summer in his career. But I'd certainly be quite surprised if Helenius pulled it off. I think Deontay Wilder, even at this advanced stage of his career, coming off 2 back-to-back losses, I think he's got more than enough. But let's see. That's just my opinion. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Hopefully this is a good fight. Leave it all down there and I'll get back to you. But for now, thanks for listening, and I'll catch you on the next video.